Hi there, folks. This is Jasmine. I'm your friendly storyteller today, and will tell you about how I managed to get revenge against my entitled and spoiled mother-in-law. This happened a few years ago, but recently some drama brought it back to mind. I thought to myself, what better place to share this story than here? So I gathered my memories and came straight here to tell you guys about how my mother-in-law, Carrie, messed up her life. It began when my husband Kyle introduced me to his mother. Kyle is an amazing man, and I would literally do anything to make him happy. I know he felt the same about me too. We were pretty happy together and close to getting engaged. That's when I met his mom. To be blunt here, Carrie was not impressed with me at all. She looked at me with distaste and said, "Kyle, is this the woman you've been talking about? You have been hyping her too much. She's just plain." "Mom, why would you say something like that? Jasmine is a great girl, and you need to know her first to make assumptions." "Oh, really, Kyle? I know a low-status woman when I see one, but since you insist, I will try to get to know her. Jasmine, tell me, what do you do?" "Oh, I actually work at—" Carrie didn't even let me finish. She was sure that I was some sort of a loser or gold digger. That hurt a lot because I don't deserve that assumption. Sure, I wasn't as posh as her, but I was a respectable woman. Carrie didn't seem to think so. She said with even more distaste, "Wait, what? Work at? You have a freaking 9-to-5 job?" "Yes. It's a 9-to-5 job, but it's actually pretty good." "Kyle, you know our family only married rich heiresses who would be housewives. Why is your girlfriend a working lady? Is her family poor or something?" "My family is pretty middle class, but I lost them many years ago. But I didn't manage to build good savings for myself. I am not financially destitute." I was trying hard to assure Carrie that I wasn't just a desperate gold digger. I don't even know why I tried, because Carrie wasn't going to listen. She simply started to laugh at me and said in a patronizing tone, "Oh, please, Jasmine, savings? Really? Do you even know what a wealthy family we come from? We don't have savings, we have assets. This is worse than I thought." "Mom, why are you so obsessed with what Jasmine does or how much money she has? I don't care about those things." "Well, I do, Kyle. Our family has standards. She is good for casual stuff, but please, for God's sake, don't get married to a loser like her." That started off a big fight between Kyle and Carrie, while I stood in shock at the situation. That woman was seriously very shallow and equally vile. The way she spoke about me was disgusting, and Kyle wasn't having any of it. The fight got so bad that we had to leave her house early. Kyle was apologetic about his mom, and I didn't blame him. But from that very day, I knew Carrie and I would never be close. Fast forward to our wedding. Carrie is sulking and telling everyone who would listen what a gold digger I was. Thankfully, I had some great backup. Kyle put her in her place, and so did his grandfather, Peter. Peter was Carrie's father and a very wealthy man. Since Carrie was a single child, she was supposed to inherit all his wealth. That was what made Carrie so obnoxious. But Peter wasn't like Carrie. He was actually a nice man who loved me like his own granddaughter. At the wedding, Peter gave Carrie a good scolding. "Carrie, this is a damn wedding. You can't just spread lies about your own daughter-in-law like that. It's bad enough that you don't invite her to family events. All this needs to stop. Jasmine is a great girl." "You don't know, Dad. Jasmine is just a loser and not fit for my son. I don't know how she managed to trap my poor son into marrying her. I just want people to know her true face." "Mom, you will stop saying shit about my new wife right now. If you don't, I will be forced to tell you to leave." "And I will support that. Carrie, mind your freaking tongue. I won't let you insult my granddaughter-in-law for no reason. If you continue to misbehave, I might just cut off a part of your monthly allowance." That shut Carrie up real quick. She was the mute for the rest of the wedding, but her antics and hostility towards me never ended. She continued to exclude me from celebrations that Peter didn't attend. Kyle, however, did notice this and called her out on it, but she ignored him and continued to insult me every chance she got. It was a good thing that we lived in separate cities because I didn't want to run into her at all. I was still trying to have some relationship with her, but Carrie was adamant about not associating with a loser like me. I didn't even know why Carrie thought of me like that, since she never let me speak. I never got the chance to tell her some secrets about my wealth. I did try to tell her about my new business, but she walked off. Her constant humiliation was getting to me. I was mad because she literally didn't do anything to achieve her wealth while I was working my butt off and still got judged by her. I was looking for a chance to show her that I wasn't who she thought I was, but I got way more than what I bargained for. It was Carrie's birthday party where something amazing happened to me. I shouldn't have to say that it was a huge event. No expenses were spared. The grand event had a limited guest list, though. Carrie only mixed with people who were rich like her, so she had intentionally kept her circle small. I almost thought that I wouldn't be invited to the party, but I did get an invitation, probably because Kyle wouldn't go without me. Back then, I didn't know that Carrie had invited me for a special reason. That reason became clear when I reached her house for the party. She was talking to her friends and I showed up to wish her. I also gave her a wrapped gift that she eyed with distaste. She said, "Thanks for the wish, Jasmine, but I'm not sure I can accept your gift." Why not, Carrie? I'm sure you will like what I got you. I put a lot of effort into finding a good gift for you." "I highly doubt that, Jasmine." "What does that mean, Carrie?" Carrie started to laugh as her friends looked on. She has this ridiculous fake laugh which made me alarmed. She used that laugh when she was patronizing or insulting someone. She barely stopped laughing and said, "You don't know what I mean? Well, our tastes will never match, Jasmine. I know you try your best, but you simply don't have the upbringing to get me a good gift. I'm sure I won't like what you brought, so you can go ahead and return it." "That is pretty rude, Carrie. You didn't even look at the gift I bought you. Can you at least verify before judging someone so harshly?" "Don't be ridiculous, Jasmine. Look at you, dear. You grew up in a middle-class family and work a 9-to-5 job. I'm sure that your side business isn't any good either. I highly doubt you will match my taste. You were just too poor for that." Carrie said that and started to laugh with her friends. I felt so embarrassed and humiliated that I didn't know what to do. I had actually got her a pair of gold earrings because I knew she liked them. But now I didn't want to hand over the gifts to her anymore. It became clear to me that Carrie had specifically humiliated me for some laughs, and she wanted to show me my place in her life. Just because she's a rich heiress, she thought that no one could match up to her. Oh boy, she had a big reality check coming. I kept my gift back in my purse and smiled a little, and then I said, "Carrie, are you really that naive? Do you really think having a 9-to-5 job doesn't make me rich?" "Well, I know how working people live. Salaried employees rarely get any money at all. I wouldn't be surprised if I hear that my son pays everything for you." "You are extremely wrong, Carrie. You have no idea what you are talking about. My bank balance is way more than you, Carrie." "Oh my God, you are such a liar, Jasmine. Stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. You need to stop lying and dreaming so much. What will people think?" "You don't believe me? Well, why don't you take a look at my bank balance, Carrie?" I opened my phone and showed Carrie my bank balance. She was extremely shocked and taken aback, and her eyes were wide and she couldn't believe what she was seeing. I knew how much money Carrie had. I had the same amount, but with 3 zeros with it. Carrie didn't see that coming. She immediately said, "That cannot be true. You're lying. You must have stolen from Kyle." "Are you stupid or something, Carrie? I'm a freaking software engineer and have a nice business. I also inherited a lot of money from my grandparents." "It's impossible that you have more money than me. I don't believe it. It is impossible you have more. I'm an heiress, for God's sake." "Well, you keep forgetting the fact that you still haven't inherited Peter's assets. You only have your late husband's money, most of which you have already spent. Meanwhile, I made good investments with my money and established a successful business that you thought didn't amount to anything." Carrie was deeply embarrassed because everyone now knew I was richer than her. She felt humiliated and couldn't let me get away with what I said. She created such a commotion that Kyle and Peter came over to see what was going on. They were surprised to see Carrie being improper in front of everyone, especially at her own birthday party. They looked super confused and asked what was going on. And since Carrie couldn't tell them what she had been doing, I decided to speak. "Oh, Carrie's just mad that I have more money than her. She insulted me by refusing my gift, saying that I wouldn't match her classy taste." "What? Mom actually did this to you? That too in front of everyone?" "Yes, Kyle. Remember how we were wondering why Carrie suddenly invited me to the party? I guess she had planned to humiliate me. What Carrie did was unacceptable, but I still don't understand why. Carrie, why were you behaving so badly with Jasmine? What's your problem?" Carrie won't answer Peter, so let me speak for her. From what she said today and all the days before that, she doesn't like me because I am not rich and work a 9-to-5 job. So she thought that she was above me. I mean, she is an heiress after all, while I come from a humble background. "Oh, really, Carrie? Just because you have my inheritance waiting for you, you think you can treat people badly? Well, I don't think you will get to be a rich heiress anymore, Carrie. After your horrible behavior today, I will be lowering your portion of the inheritance. I will give everything to Kyle and his wife." My dear mother-in-law was shocked when her own father said this in front of everyone. She couldn't believe that Peter would say something like this. She was an all-in daddy's girl, plus a single child. All her life she knew that she had her father's inheritance waiting for her. She went around living a luxurious life and looking down on people because of her status. Now her entire inheritance was being threatened by the very man who held the money. Carrie looked at her father in disbelief and said, "What? Dad? What are you saying? You can't be serious. You won't disinherit me over a stupid girl like Jasmine? Okay, I may have underestimated her, but she had intentionally made me think she was poor. She works a 9-to-5 job to be pretentious. You don't know people like her." "Shut up, Carrie. I've heard enough of your nonsense about Jasmine and working people. I won't disinherit you, but only give you the bare minimum. This is to make sure you won't contest the will and get my grandson and his wife in trouble." "Dad, you're just mad at me. You don't mean this. I know how much you love me. You won't do this to me. I'm your only child." "Yes, you are my only child, and I love you a lot. My love made me blind, and I ended up spoiling you to hell. You have no humility and no respect for others. I'm ashamed to have a daughter like you. Did you forget that your own dad was poor and had to work his butt off to get rich? Just because I raised you comfortably doesn't mean I didn't work like a freaking slave to get where I am now. How dare you disrespect hard-working people like that?" "Dad, you're misunderstanding me. How the hell did I misunderstand you, Carrie? For the last year I saw you humiliate and insult Jasmine and her family like no one's business. I've seen it all, Carrie. Just because we didn't make you work doesn't mean you can look down on people. You have turned into a monster, Carrie. Dad, I'm sorry. I was just... A sorry doesn't change anything. You should have been saying sorry to Jasmine for all the snide remarks and insults you threw at her. You think you're better than everyone here? Why don't you try and build your own wealth then? I won't hand over my hard-earned money to someone who doesn't even appreciate it. It will go to Kyle and Jasmine. You can go and build your own fortune and then gloat about your wealth. Now, guys, Carrie never saw this coming. It was like salt to her wounds. Peter, in front of all her friends and family, literally gave her a reality check, and he looked dead serious about his decision. Me and Kyle were shocked as well. Peter was an honest man who was very down to earth despite his wealth, but we didn't expect him to just turn on his daughter like that. It was truly shocking and something unexpected. Carrie understood the gravity of the situation and started to cry. She begged and pleaded with Peter not to do this to her. She said, Dad, please don't do this to your daughter. You're right. I've been an entitled and selfish woman. I see that now. I promise I won't be like this anymore. I will change. I'm sorry, Dad. You had plenty of chances to change yourself, Carrie. You chose to ignore my warnings and do as you please. Now I will do as I please, and you can't stop me. What will I do with your sorry? You should be saying sorry to your daughter-in-law. Jasmine, I'm so sorry. I made a mistake. I didn't know. Now, when Carrie fake apologized to me for her nasty behavior, it made me furious. Kyle was silently by my side and didn't stop me from bursting out at her. He knew what his mom did was wrong and was making plans of his own. Carrie's apology was completely fake and done in desperation. Everyone, including Kyle, saw that clearly. So I said, Keep that fake apology away from me, Carrie. I don't want it. I know you're just apologizing because you don't want Peter to disinherit you. You were still the same shallow, vain woman who was attacking me not even 10 minutes ago. See, Dad? I'm giving her the apology she wants, but she's refusing to accept it. I'm telling you, Dad, Jasmine just wants to see me humiliated, and you're helping her do this to me. Stop this nonsense, Mom. My wife is right in refusing your apology. You have really become a spoiled princess, Mom. It's ridiculous the way you've been treating my wife. But I was only making fun of her because I thought she was poor. She tricked me into thinking that she was below me. How would I know that she's wealthier than me? It doesn't fricking matter, Mom. Have you learned nothing from what Grandpa said? He told you that he himself had been poor at one point in his life. It doesn't matter how much wealth people have. You have to treat everyone equally and give them respect. Your gross misinterpretation of the situation proves that your apology is fake and unacceptable. Carrie was crying like hell while Kyle berated her for her horrible remarks, and meanwhile Peter was getting angrier by the second. Carrie had no idea that she was in big trouble, trouble that she will not overcome by herself. And there won't be anyone around to help her. Carrie thought that her fake apology and tears would move Peter. Instead, it had the opposite effect on him. He was extremely angry and said, Enough of your useless tears, Carrie. My God, I don't recognize this woman I have raised. What have you become, Carrie? It's very clear to me today that you don't deserve a cent of my wealth. Dad, please don't say that. I'm your only child. Why are you taking away what's rightfully mine? Jasmine doesn't need any of that money. I need it. Like I said, Carrie, if you want it, you have to earn it. My money will definitely not be going to a woman who doesn't know how to respect people. I'm telling you and everyone here right now that I am disinheriting you. Everything I have will go to Kyle, and I will be putting in a significant amount of money in Jasmine's business as well. Carrie, you will not get anything from me. Carrie looked like she was going to faint. Peter had humiliated her in front of her friends and family, and Peter had made it clear that he planned to disinherit her. Carrie couldn't take all that drama. She was going pale and her tears never stopped. She kept begging her father not to do this to her. And Peter gently pushed her away and walked out. And just like that, he was gone from the house. Carrie then tried to recruit Kyle and I back into her team again. She said, "Kyle, you need to help me. You need to tell your grandfather to change his mind. He can't disinherit me. I'm his only child. I will be left destitute." "You should have thought about that before running your mouth, Mom. I still don't understand how you have the audacity to ask me for help. I want nothing to do with this. In fact, if Jasmine agrees with me, I would like to go no contact with you." "Oh, yes, Kyle. I don't want anything to do with Carrie. She has crossed her limits today and tried to make fun of me in front of everyone. It was horrible. I don't think I will ever forgive her. It's best we stay away." "You heard my wife, Mom. You can deal with your own problems while I deal with mine. Don't bother asking us for help or contacting us. We won't come to your rescue." As if things couldn't get any worse, we hit Carrie with this declaration. I was so proud of my husband for standing up for me. He didn't even bat an eye while telling Carrie that he didn't want to talk to her. He had seen what went down and didn't want to risk a repeat of this incident. Besides, Carrie had already revealed what a shallow person she is. It was more reason to stay away from her. Carrie, however, had trouble understanding what she did wrong. She sank to the floor, begging us for mercy while we walked out. We also saw that many others at the party were also starting to leave. Carrie's day was ruined along with her life, and this was all her own doing. Peter was a man of his word. He did what he said and immediately disinherited Carrie. He literally went to the lawyer the next day and brought him to our house. We witnessed him as he wrote a new will and disinherited Carrie. Peter was adamant that Carrie needed to learn a lesson no matter how late in life. Now, a lot of things happened after that as well. Peter cancelled all of Carrie's credit cards and stopped paying her allowance. It took Carrie a month to notice that he wasn't bluffing. Peter was going nuclear on Carrie in all aspects. Carrie did try her best to convince him otherwise. She cried, begged, and even kept harassing us for help. We all refused. In the aftermath of Peter's decision, Carrie was forced to sell her house. This was the only property she had in her name after her husband died. All the money was already gone since Carrie relied on Peter for financial help. When Peter turned his back on her, she was forced to look for sources of income. The first option was to sell her house. She moved into an expensive condo that she was renting. Stupid decision, because that made her money disappear fast. So all the proceeds of the house sale were spent on her ridiculously luxurious life. She blew through that money in under a year. Then she was back begging for help. She showed up at our door and even went to Peter for help. No luck anywhere, because we were done with her. So what happened to my dear mother-in-law in the end? Well, she had to take up a job and downgrade her lifestyle to nothing. This was her last resort before filing for bankruptcy. As far as we know, she's still struggling and even considering getting food stamps. I guess this is what you get for trying to mess with the hand that feeds you. Peter seemed pretty happy with his decision. He actually passed away last month, which is why I was reminded of this incident. You can say that I got nostalgic. Anyway, Carrie showed up expecting Peter to change his mind in the end. Spoiler alert, he didn't. Kyle got all the money, while I got the shares that he had purchased from my company. Carrie threw a fit and was instantly kicked out. This also showed us that Carrie would never change, so we intend to continue the no contact.